Agenda. Thank you. And here we are, general meeting on Wednesday, June 24th. It's just after 7:30. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order and also mention the minutes. I know Diane wrote to me to say that she had some comments on the minutes that needed to be improved or adjusted. Can you point those out, please, Diane?
Yes, I can. If the club vacation is July and August. In June, we did meet. And then the other correction is every fourth Tuesday, we meet downtown Triangle for the garden work from 10 to noon instead of around noon. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, thank you.
I know that we are using AI to make the what do you call it, the transcripts, and then we work from there. So speak of the devil. So I'll make sure. And of course, I think Anna is not with us this week. I believe that she told me she was traveling, so she'll be getting the transcripts and watching this on. Oh, hi. Uh, Sorry, I'm seeing some familiar faces that haven't been here for a while. She'll be watching this and she'll be doing the minutes from that so she can change it. So, with those corrections, did anyone else have any changes in the minutes? Okay, so I'd like to accept the meetings and call the meeting to order. I move to call the meeting to order.
Second.
Thanks, Edie. Let's see, I don't see anybody from RPD here.
They were invited twice, so
Yeah.
I know that there has been some recent personnel changes to our neighborhood, and I haven't really gotten a clear answer of who's our new person.
I'll swing back with Moody and make sure.
Yeah, I've emailed Moody several times and never received a reply, so I don't know if it's not getting to him or what the deal is, but I will try
Okay,
and suss it
we'll
out.
double check. The other thing is they're on 500 levels of overtime. So, and there have been some challenges, particularly this is fireworks season. So it's not surprising not to see them, but we do like to, and we'll try to get somebody here next week. Also, for those of you who are either new here or your guests, when the police do not show up, we move on without them. If they join us, we politely ask you to stop what you're doing so we can get the police report, and then we'll pick up your presentations again because their time is the most inflexible. So we can go ahead with the president's report. And I've got kind of a bit to talk about. First of all, I want to mention that we're having some website problems. So right now, and we're working together to work on them. We have Lindsay, who's one of my neighbors. She's on, and she's a computer genius and has volunteered to help us out. But we need to get her the information she needs to help figure out what's going on. So currently, we're having trouble posting to the website. So if you don't see any updates, that's why. And as soon as possible, we're going to figure out why we're kind of locked out of making updates. And hopefully, we're going to make some more positive changes. We want to fix that glitch with the PayPal account. We want to add additional ways to pay because that's always good for the organization. And we want people to be able to sign up for the mailing list directly without having to email us with their information because that's just a second step. So if you see the website is acting a little bit grouchy, we are aware of it. For the July 29th meeting, we have currently scheduled the Richmond Shoreline Alliance / San Francisco Baykeeper / Sierra Club to speak on the Heckathorn, the polluted Heckathorn construction site, which is right at the entrance to the port. So that is Lisa, you may know, it may be a Superfund site. That's a heavily polluted site that the EPA is supposed to be helping us to get cleaned up. And that organization of environmental groups is going to be encouraging the city to ask for a maximum cleanup of that site, which I think we all agree is a good thing, hopefully, or it'd be curious to see if you don't agree. But in the meanwhile, Caesar, I called Caesar when I heard from them to make sure it was kind of in the PRNC's backyard, because it's right on the limit, or right on the border. And Caesar Zepeda, is on that committee to work with the EPA, and he heavily encouraged us to invite them. So we're going to be doing two things. We're going to be sending out some notices to amplify them on the subject, because they're going to want you to write into the city council. And then we'll hopefully hear from them on the 29th, which is they've accepted that schedule. Tonight, in a few minutes, we're going to hear from Andrew Brosnan of the Watershed Project, who I see is here. Garry, Hurlbut, our own beloved neighbor. Robbie Rawler from the city of Richmond. He's the aquatic supervisor that deals with the pools. And Jesse Marin. And all of after we hear our update from Andrew on the Watershed, the rest of it's going to be about the Plunge 100th birthday celebration and the exciting things that are happening there. We have no meeting in August. That's our month off, and in the best of all possible worlds, the board would have the entire month off and we could relax. Not this year. This year, we actually have 3 events in the month of August. We will be participating in the Plunge celebration in a small way, and Robbie and I can tell you a little bit about that in a few minutes. We are also going to have a celebration for Maxine Finley, our smiling crossing guard. We are hoped that by the end of next week that there will be a proclamation, and that will be the week of August 24th, Monday. And we'll get back to you. You don't have to write this down. She is a community treasure. She's 84, I think. So we don't know how much longer she's going to be out protecting the kids. So we will be celebrating her in extension, hopefully with the proclamation. And then we're going to have an event. So keep an eye out on that. And for all these events, we need help. So if you see that there's an event, maybe the only help we need is for you to show up at 9 o'clock and help us to set up the tent for 20 minutes on your way out of town. But everything that we don't have volunteers to do, the board has to do themselves. And on weekdays, most of our board works full-time jobs. So that means that the seniors or the retired people have to do it themselves. So be on the lookout. And it's okay. I'd rather have a volunteer for 30 minutes in the morning or to help us serve lemonade than no volunteer at all. And then 29th of August, Saturday, is the dumpster day. That's the second dumpster day of the year. We're one of the few areas that gets 2. I will mention, and we'll cover all this in July, and of course we'll send notices out. Dumpster Day was really a dumpster fire last year. We did serve almost 200 people, and we raised some funds. But one of the problems that we had is that some people weren't following the rules, and they took up too much time. So we're asking the city to work with us this time to make sure that if somebody comes and they have too much stuff, that they are sent away. So one of the things we had happen last time was that one man took an hour to offload his stuff, and that cut our dump. We only had 2 dumpsters. So that meant we were at half capacity for a full hour. So I'll work with the city to get it better. Okay, so that said, events and the month of August. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 4th. I don't have the bandwidth, and we don't have any board members who are willing to be able to take this event from start to finish. I think it's one of the most important events of the year for us to show support and speak to the police. So if there are any people in the community who would like to do National Night Out, or if you're part of an organization, I am very willing to work alongside you to plan that. But we need to make a reservation with the police department to do that. It can be as large or as small as somebody has the bandwidth to do. And I'm very, very happy to walk you through the activities. This particular activity is sponsored by the police department. So for example, if you want to close the town triangle, which we would probably not have to do. The police department will do that for you. So that's a lot easier. They work with us and they help us plan. So you don't have to do getting the barricades, writing the permits, paying stuff. So I'm sorry to say I just don't have what it takes. I've got too much going on. So get in touch with me right away if you have an organization or a group who would like to do some version of it. Some communities just set up some tables and have a potluck. Some people have somebody who plays the guitar and people just meet and greet for an hour. So let me know if you're interested in taking over National Night Out with our support. And that's what I've got for today. So we can move on to, oh, and of course, I'm sorry. I'm staying on. My term is over already. We need volunteers. So I'm going to scold my community. There are 500 people on our mailing list. So, of those 500 people, either one of you can take a position as a board member, or you know somebody who you think would make a good officer. So, please put on your caps. I know Diane is going to tell us a little bit about some changes. It is extremely hard to get volunteers because people will gladly spend up to 50 hours a week online complaining, but not 2 hours a week actually volunteering to get something done. So help us out. We've been trying to recruit, find those recruits, get the people that you would like to see advocating, and bear in mind, most of the board is willing to stay alongside you. Okay, I won't disappear. I will, I'll happily help anybody side by side to make that transition. We also have an unlimited number of at-large officers, which means that if you want to share your position with somebody else, that's fine with us. We'll figure out the logistics of it. Okay, now we move on to the treasurer's report with the fabulous Margie Sullivan.
Thank you, Phil. Let's see. I met with our
Sorry, Margie, you're totally breaking up.
fabulous new bookkeeper this month. Okay, I'll move in closer. Is that better?
Thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
I met with our bookkeeper this month, and she was really helpful to get online. So now she has totally access to our Mechanics Bank information, so she can report if I'm not around. And it was very, very helpful to make sure that we were in really good shape. The other two things we spent money on this month was purchasing the benches and the umbrellas. And also we did some work down at the Carroll Park, getting some more rocks and making things look great. So we're in great shape.
Thanks. And so it was. We mentioned that I think it was just around 1,200 for the benches and the sunshade, and was it 1,800 for the Judge Carroll corner? And that came off of our grant, our last year's grant for the Gateway Foundation, and the rest of that money will go to the celebration I mentioned for Maxine. Thank you very much, Eric. What's going on with membership?
Sure. Good evening. Not much this past month. We appreciate folks continuing to pay their dues. We were joking about AI and robotics. I probably sound like an AI robot with my report because it's very similar every month, but folks are still paying dues. We appreciate that. We're still having a few technical issues. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. And we're still at 210 paid active members. So that number is unchanged from last month. So if you have any questions, please reach out.
Thank you, Eric. I believe that is by far the highest active member of any neighborhood council. And my understanding is it's the highest number we've had in the 65-year history of the PRNC. So good on you. That way, hopefully our voices can be heard a little more when I write a letter and they go, God, it's Rosenthal again, but there's 209 of you behind me. Possibly that might make a difference. And that's it. We're good. Are we ready to go with a brief presentation from the Watershed Nursery? From Andrew?
Sure. Is it okay to share my screen?
Absolutely. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you.
And this is Andrew Brosnan, Brosnan.
Great. Just give me one sec. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
So thank you all for having me here tonight. Some of you, I'm assuming were here last time. Again, my name's Andrew Brosnan. I'm with Watershed Nursery Cooperative. I'm your neighbor down near Veolia, the water treatment plant. And I've been asked here to give you a brief summary of us again and give you an update. As many of you know, we may be working with the city to see if we can lease a little extra land on the other side of the Veolia water treatment plant. So I want to just remind you today a little bit of who we are, remind you of some of the benefits we bring to the city of Richmond and Point Richmond specific, and let you know a little bit about what we hope our plans to be, just to make sure that we're being good neighbors and hopefully get your buy-in, if that sounds good. So quickly, I won't read our mission, but just for those of you who don't know who we are, again, we are a native plant nursery who grows all our own plants on site, and we only grow California native plants. We do so to grow plants for projects mostly, and we value growing plants to create genetic diversity, and using the phytosanitary best management practices to prevent plant pathogen spread. And we also have a retail arm. To give you a quick history, we were founded in 2001 by Diana Benner and Laura Hansen. In 2008, then council member Tom Butt helped us relocate to Point Richmond, where the city allows us to lease land in front of the water treatment plant. In 2024, we earned the highest ranking possible for phytosanitary practices, which means that our plant, soil, and land are the cleanest possible and prevent any spread of any pathogens. Also in 2024, we became an employee-owned co-op, and we have provided over 1 million native plants to local restoration projects. And again, to remind you, I went through the City of Richmond's 2030 plan and just tried to align all the things we do that are aligned with that plan, just to show you that as a business, we are trying to be and are supporting the City of Richmond. So just some quick highlights really briefly. We work on a project basis with many of our local organizations, naming just a few. All the East Bay Regional Parks, Urban Tilth, many of the municipal water districts, and a lot of the resource conservation districts across the counties. And working with all these projects, they are installing California native plants that help enhance the local habitat. They provide resources for wildlife, clean the water and air, and help capture carbon. I'm not going to read all the specific numbers that associate with the plan of the 2030 Richmond plan, but they're there if you want them. Some of the things we do is we help restore urban creeks, and we do that with a variety of organizations you may be familiar with, like the Watershed Projects or Friends of Five Creeks. Some of you may be familiar with Richmond's Love Your Block grants. So we've given a lot of plants or supplied a lot of plants to those projects. And we grow many of the species that are suggested by the Water Use Classification of Landscape Species, or the WUCOL project. Some of you may be familiar with the Point Malate redevelopment plan, but they recently at Terminal 4 removed wharf, and we're part of an experimental project there of trying to revegetate the land to prevent erosion, as opposed to using just inorganic materials. So it's a really exciting project there. We also have a retail side of the nursery that's about 35% of the nursery. And we have a local and wider Bay Area customers that come by to buy plants and therefore enhance the environment. We also provide school donations and discounts to benefit both schools and nonprofit groups to encourage them to plant native plants. And then we align with other business practices by employing Richmond residents with limited English proficiency. And as a cooperative, we promote locally owned businesses that are cooperative enterprises. And to remind you, we also have some neighborhood benefits. We draw people to the Point Richmond area from all over the Bay Area. And we even have people who come all the way from the Central Valley because there are no nurseries like ours in areas like as far as Livermore or even the Central Valley. You know that our area has a bit of an industrial feel, and so we create a natural setting within that industrial feel. And we use the land without creating noise, pollution, or other unwanted benefits. You can see from the map there, this is the unused part of the land. This is the water treatment plant. And this is some of the land that we would like to try to lease. We're hoping that you, as the Point Richmond representatives, might be supportive of us using that unused part of land. There will be some impacts initially of our use because we will need to level and grade that land, install some water lines, bring in some gravel, erect some fencing. So there would be noise associated with that initial construction. And then through the water treatment plant's parking lot, occasionally there will be things like soil delivery and delivery of plastic pot containers. No more noise than what's currently at the water treatment plant, but we would want to let you know that. This is the update. We have a sketch of how we might use the land. Just to let you know, any of the structures, like a potting shed in green or a shade house, which is like a greenhouse over here, container storage, these are all one-story buildings. Buildings might be even a overstatement of what kind of building they are. Small sheds, these blue lines are tables. So just give you a sense of what would be on the land. We don't put plants on the ground. All the plants would be on tables. So just give you a sense that there won't be plants being planted in the land. Trucks would be going once in a while up this center driveway so that they could dump soil. We sterilize our soil, so that's soil, just planting material. Who would be on this land? It would not be retail customers. It would just be our staff. So Monday through Friday, there would be approximately, depending on the day, between 5 and 8 staff members in this land. On Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, there would be usually on average between 1 and 3 people on this land. We'd be entering through the Veolia Drive right here. We wouldn't be creating any new entrances over on Canal, and we'd just be entering through their pre-entrance over here. What would be our timeline? This summer, we need to be gathering a lot of information for the city, and we would be working on permitting. In fall, if everything goes well, we would present to the city council to see if they would approve to lease us this land, and we would continue permitting. If everything kept going well, we would continue the permitting process in spring 2027, and pending approval of all permitting, we would move into phase 1, which would be grading and leveling this ground, creating a fence around the area to prevent deer from eating all our plants, and starting to get some irrigation lines in here from the irrigation pipes under Canal Street. This would be the most aggressive timeline and best case scenario. The last thing that I forgot to say is there's a bunch of chorus frogs that live here. Even though this land is leasable, we would be stopping our fence all the way over here so that we would not interrupt the lives of the chorus frogs over here. I kept my 10 minutes.
Oh, you're great. And we have a few extra minutes because police didn't show up. And I just want to point out, in case you don't know, Andrew, that this body voted unanimously to support this the first time it came around. Those letters are still floating around. I told Diana we'd be happy to send it again or to redo with a new vote if she needs to. There seems almost no downside to this project. The one request that we did have was we hoped that with your access to water, that together with the Watershed Nursery or with the community, we might be able to plant a line of trees towards the elementary school. Because one of the biggest problems that I have when I talk about funding for planting trees is watering them. And if you have access to water and you could maintain them, we could work together maybe to provide a little bit of a fresh air and a little bit of a barrier between the children and the sewer treatment plant. So I just wanted, that was something we had discussed in the past. I wanted to bring it up again. I see Edie has a question.
Sure.
Well, I'll defer to Lisa Johnson, who posted her question in the chat first, which was, Andrew, what type of fencing would you be installing?
Like typical, not so lovely fencing is my guess. Nothing like, unfortunately, nothing. I don't think it's going to be like painted fencing, but just like something to prevent deer, if that makes sense. So I don't have an exact vision of it yet, but if you've seen my guess is it's going to be the kind of chain link fencing with the green
The
metal
slats.
slats.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I blanked on the word. Though that hasn't been, we're not close enough to have that level of detail. But if there's a concern or a specific type of fencing, we're definitely open to input.
Is chain link out of the question?
Not that's my thought, is that it's chain link with slatting would be my thought.
Oh, the plastic or the green things. Yeah.
And my own question was, with regard to the trees, are the existing trees in the center of that area, will they be removed?
I think there might be a couple of shrubs that aren't trees. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I
there are
think those
lots of shrubs.
I think there might be some shrubs that'll need to be removed.
But
There's
there is a line of pine trees that's through the center of that.
Can I look at my little cheat
Yeah, go ahead.
sheet real quick if I can? So if I share again, is that okay?
Sure.
Absolutely, and I'll show you what we're talking about.
Yeah, hold on as I lose my share screen. Please hold. I'm really fast. Can you tell? I
Yeah.
grew up with a typewriter.
All right. So, in that little area, that green area that your cursor's over right now, in there are some pine trees. I'm not quite sure exactly what kind of pine trees, but they're rather large. And I was wondering if those are planning to be removed in the process, because in your layout, you did indicate, the quote, I'm going to air quote buildings because I know what you're talking about. You're not talking about like actual permanent structures, but like buildings in the loosest sense of the words, is in that area. Is under, I was wondering if you were planning on removing the trees before you put those in, or if you were going to be building those under that tree cover. And the reason why, and I certainly am supportive of this project, but I do want to point out that those are a location for some of the hoot owls that are loved in the area, and they do nest in those trees.
I will have to bring that back to the group because my guess is that we did not know there were hoot owls there.
Yeah. And I would never have known that myself, except that before my husband passed away, that was where what he called his track, where he would fly drones and test drones, flying them around there and practicing flying. And so we were very familiar with that area. And yeah, there were owls in those trees that we would frequently be aware of and encountering and be mindful of. So I don't know if they're still there, but as of a few years ago, there were owls in those trees.
I think there would be a pretty negative response to any trees being removed in that highly polluted area. So
yeah,
I think we want more, even without the owls. So that might be something to take a look at if that's one of the things you intend to do.
I would think we would, because having trees there would make it hard for nursery plants to grow.
Right.
Um, so I'm just grabbing the pen real quick.
Okay. And I think we should try to nip that at the bud, no pun intended, that potential conflict.
And Lisa Johnson does have a hand raised.
Yeah, Lisa.
Yeah, just a quick point. You mentioned planting trees, and the city submitted, what was it, almost over $20 million worth of grants for the Bay Area Air Quality Management District Settlement Fund with Chevron and other industries that get fined. And part of those grants that they submitted are for planting trees and stuff. And so since you're already reaching out with the city, it might be an opportunity to collaborate and get some trees with them, since they're taking over that, the Veolia contract here, because that's coming up. So whoever's going to oversee that plant, we don't know yet, but might be a good opportunity for some trees and sharing.
Thanks, Lisa. I was in touch with Diana Brenner, the founder, because I was 90% sure I was going to get a $50,000 grant to plant trees in Point Richmond from another settlement, and was extremely disappointed to find out that nobody received any funding to plant trees in a settlement about air quality. And that's a whole nother conversation. So Diana did point out that she definitely has access to organizations and other groups who can help choose those trees, and they certainly know how to maintain them. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we thank Andrew for his time and move on? Andrew, if you want, or you or Diana want to come to just knock back answers, I can just verbally present them at the next meeting if there's anything to discuss, or we can send them out at the, as the time gets closer for the project. I'm grateful for your time. It was really nice to meet you.
Vice versa. Thank you so much, everyone.
All righty. Now we can move on to something that does not involve bike lanes or traffic. Yay! Which is a celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Richmond Auditorium Plunge. And we'll start off with a quick review from Garry Hurlbut of the Hurlbut Benevolent Foundation / Richmond Tennis, who is helping with the renovations of the garden. So what are the garden plans for the outside of the plunge, Garry?
So, Phil, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, over the last over years, as you've seen, the shrubbery by the plunge has become very overgrown. Mayor and I work with the city and help keeping it trimmed back for the last few years, and we're helping with the weeding by volunteers like by Phil and other folks that come out and help as well. But now it really needed a 100-year-old haircut. So Mayor and I worked with the Parks and Landscaping folks to give it a facelift on the front, and some of that was just getting rid of some pruning, but also undesirable plants like coyote bush, and trimming up back on some of the other plants. You may have seen, if you've been out there in the last week or a couple of weeks, the city has actually laid down fabric and fresh mulch over the last couple of weeks to the left side of the entrance. And we collaborated with them, and by adding some California native plants, including California lilac, California redbud, California gray rush, and California coffeeberry. And actually, my apologies to Andrew, because they were actually purchased by the Sparks and Landscaping, but I would have pushed them to actually gone out to to talk to Andrew about getting the plants there. But those plants are actually installed on the left side now of the plunge, of the entrance to the plunge. But we supplemented them with a couple other plants, like there's a point leaf manzanita, cherry sage, and an orange bullbean. We're hoping now that Parks and Landscaping will have enough time to do this similar kind of thing as you walk up toward the plunge. On the right-hand side now, they've actually taken a bunch of the shrubs out and all, but that needs to have the same kind of work done that's been completed on the left-hand side. So you'll see left side, I think the left side looks pretty great. And so now we'll just kind of see if we're going to be able to get that done before the celebration on August 15th. So stay tuned and just enjoy it when you're walking by.
Thank you, Garry. It's been a really, really frantic effort, and I know that it's the calm before the storm. Everything looks very naked right now, but it will grow in really soon. I do want to comment, though. I did have a conversation with someone who will remain nameless from the Parks Department, who was disappointed in the city's bidding process for these native plants and felt that there would have been an improvement if they had worked directly with the watershed and
that would be great. Would have been great. Yep.
Yeah, not paid a commission to somebody to do something that our neighbors are delighted to do. But I'll bring that up when I speak to Diana to make sure that she gets her bid in with the city. But thank you, and Maren, for everything you do. I know that Maren's recovering from some hip replacement, and we all wish her a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I was going to say actually it was a knee because I had hip replaced about 4 years ago. That wasn't so bad, but it turns out that the knee replacement is much tougher.
So yeah, I'm sorry I got it wrong because you have the Frankenstein household. Everybody's always getting somebody. Somebody.
Yeah, she said she'd like to have been on, but she's recuperating, and we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, I think we would all love to see Maren on some type of heavy duty painkiller. That would be a riot. Well, thank you. Next up, we'll hear from Robbie Rawler. Robbie, tell us a little bit about what you do for the city and what the plans are for the celebration.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Robbie Roller. I am the Recreation Supervisor for City of Richmond Recreation, and I supervise aquatics, which means I supervise the Plunge and the Richmond Swim Center over on Cutting. I have been I've been working here for about a little over a year. And let's see, I supervise all the lifeguards. We have about 45 lifeguards part-time, and then we have those folks, if you come into the pools at the front window, those are office cashier clerks who do the drop-in if you check in. I supervise about 10 part-time of those staff. And then right now I'm kind of a little understaffed, so if you are dealing with the pools and you've noticed anything, I have, let's see, 1 out of 4 permanent staff who are leadership staff, who are not we're trying to fill those vacancies, and so I am shorthanded at the moment. If you ever work for a city or county and you are understaffed, you know how that goes. But hopefully filling those vacancies soon. And then right now we've switched to our a summer program from the spring schedule. So we have additional programs, rec swims, which are like family come on down, drop into the pools, additional rec swims for families and kids to enjoy the water. And we have our regular lap swim times. We have increased swim lessons during the summer. And so there's an increased amount of staff, increased amount of people using the pools this summer. So that's kind of what I got going on. This is the first week of the start of the summer. So
that's why you look tired.
I look tired. I also have 3 kids at home who are rushing by me and making noise. So that probably contributes.
This is a family gathering. We're glad to have them.
Yeah. And then I think also on this call, I have Janae with us. Janae also works for the Recreation Department, and she has been helping me with the Plunge 100-year anniversary event, which is coming up because is Saturday, August 15th. And so the Recreation permanent staff have been meeting regularly, and we have been planning it out and gone through quite a few details. So if I can go ahead and share that information with you guys, and I can share a screen, but I'll let Janae introduce herself if she's here,
Yep.
and talk about what she's been working on with recreation and the plunge.
Hi, Janae. Thanks, Robbie.
Good evening. Sorry, now I have my dog barking in the background, so hopefully it's not too loud. But so I'm Janae. I'm with the city of Richmond. I've been here for a while. I don't know, some of you know me, but I've been around the city for a while. I'm just helping Robbie with the we're doing a historic sign to commemorate all the history and the importance of the plunge. So doing that and any type of other signage, any other way I can help out. So I have with us, or we have with us, Jessie. She's with CSW, and formerly, I guess it was Marsha Valle, landscape architect. So she's with CSW, and they have done a lot of work in Richmond, or Marsha, as you know, and CSW, as you know, has done a lot of work in Richmond. So Jessie is going to present what we have designed to commemorate the history of the plunge on the site, on the plunge site, where the old fountain is, or nearby the old fountain. So I don't know if Jessie, if you want to say.
Yeah. So a lot of you will have already seen this sign. Philip and Edie were kind enough to quickly put together a survey and ask for input. And very, very impressively, we got some substantive responses. So I really appreciated everyone jumping in and taking a look and giving us your knowledge and expertise as well. So I wanted to share. This is, for folks who haven't seen it, is the sign as it is in production. And, there were some changes that were made. They may feel a little bit subtle. There were corrections made to the text. The font size has been increased. There is a quote that's been removed that was just, it felt like it gave a little bit of an odd picture of the pool. So we just took that out. And kind of expanded things a little bit. And this is where it stands. So you can see that across the top is the Richmond Plunge, the name, and that references the sign that's in the image just below that. So the building has had a couple of different signs. You can see in this postcard on the left, it was obviously originally the Municipal Natatorium. And the name was eventually changed to the Richmond Plunge. I think one of the other fun elements that comes out in here are the various murals that have been on that back wall. This image on the right is opening day, 1926. And this is kind of a stylized version of Point Richmond. It's a map of the city. It's an earlier kind of a vintage style of graphic design. I find it a little hard to read, but it is very striking. You can see in the lower left here, kind of the wavy water look that was the mural on that back wall before the interior renovation, 2008. And then the renovated interior with the John Worley mural of the lagoon that's out at Miller Knox Regional Park. And then surrounding these images, there's information about the community advocacy that really came together to save the plunge, to put together the fundraising that went into that renovation effort, and did a lot of the restoration work that brought the plunge into its current function. And it also talks a little bit about the building's early history. John Nickel, we have a number of Richmond destinations, streets that are named after him. He drilled for oil on this site early on, but found artesian water. And so this sign reflects research done by myself, by Janae, and by another person, Brenda, in our office. And as is always the case, we found that some of the early history of the plunge is a little bit anecdotal. So we've tried to stick with information that we could verify. And, there are some stories there that didn't get included, but they are a little bit hard to verify. So as Janae mentioned, this is really about celebrating this fixture in Richmond and Point Richmond. And it will be printed and installed in a sign frame very similar. The frame will be identical to the frame that the PRNC put together to celebrate the mural around the tunnel that's currently installed kind of at the back end of the tennis courts as you head into the tunnel itself. So you can kind of visualize the sign frame itself.
And I want to point out that Jesse, as a volunteer, created the tunnel mural sign, which is at the back of the um, tennis courts. And although there's a different color palette, the feeling of those two signs is really very consistent. So it just talks about that turn of the century time period. And I'm really grateful for your artistic skills and that you were able to, with two different, very different projects, that you were able to kind of pull them together a little bit for a neighborhood feeling.
Thank you. Yeah. And just before we take other questions, I wanted to acknowledge James. We have gotten to know each other a little bit better through some of the projects that are happening in downtown Point Richmond, and I just really appreciate your historic knowledge and your ability just to pull these facts out of your mind and share them with us. So special shout out to James for both this sign and the other sign at the tunnel as well.
He's a remarkable historian. Edie, you have a question?
Yeah, just one quick question. So you said that this is in production right now, so this is locked in the way it is, or this is still up for any additional changes?
This is locked in as it is. We wanted to make sure we have the sign produced and ready for installation prior to the event. And the sign manufacturer has a long lead time. So yes, this is as it is. So that's why I really appreciate everyone jumping in and giving feedback when that survey was sent out. It was quite critical.
And that's going to go, but am I correct? It's going between the two benches behind the fountain?
That's my understanding. Janae, is that correct?
Yes. So more like currently there's dirt there right now. So it's not in between the two benches, it's more on the side of the benches, a little bit behind it.
Okay. Yeah, but so that people wanted to know where it's going to be, highly visible, but not in your face.
Perfect. Not in your way, not in the way.
Yeah. Perfect. Any other questions about the signage?
I think what I like most about it is that there's little tile work, and if you know the plunge, the little tile work on the outline of the plaque matches what the plunge tile work looks like. That's what struck out to me. So so very good job, very good design.
The design is beautiful. It's really beautiful, Jesse.
Thank you. Yeah.
And do you want to review the order of operations for that day?
Yeah,
Robbie?
I can do that. Yeah, I can speak
great.
a little bit more. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So let's start with the flyer. Don't want to share that flyer. Let's share this one first. So can everyone see this? Okay, so this is the big 100-year anniversary flyer for the Plunge Municipal Natatorium, Saturday, August 15th, and it's kind of an all-day celebration. So let me move people over here. There we go. So we got kind of like the event is kind of broken down to a few different parts. So this flyer kind of breaks it down. So 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. is kind of like an outside ceremony, dedication to the building. Imagine looking at the building in this photo right here, and you're going to have a podium, and there'll be chairs going down this walkway, and you'll be facing the building, and we'll have speeches. There'll be a sound system. There's blocked off parking for disabled parking to park close. We're looking at trying to designate parking possibly at Washington Elementary School and having that blacktop be a parking lot of sorts. Folks who are just disabled We're going to have the recreation staff are going to try to have like a go-kart that goes around and picks up people and can bring them here easily. Because we don't know exactly how many people are going to come, but we know it could be quite a few hundred. So, yeah, so the first part is dedicating and honoring the building. We might have some stories from yay old. Um, we don't have a list of speakers yet, but that is getting determined by rec staff as to who will be invited to do certain speeches, probably some Richmond dignitaries. After it's over, we on the side of the building, towards the pathway to the tennis courts, we're going to have some tents with some tables, and we're going to have food refreshments that the City of Richmond Recreation Department is providing. We're looking at sandwiches and drinks and fruit. And then also in the tented areas on the side, we are inviting Point Richmond City Council to have you guys have a booth there, along with the Friends of Richmond Recreation, and then Richmond Swims, who is a nonprofit that is in charge of the Sailfish, which is the competitive youth swim team that swims at. They're going to have a booth as well. And then we have towels that we will give out to participants that will have the Plunge 100-year anniversary. And yeah, that's kind of like the big thing. Once the speeches are over, there'll be some music from our audio vendor that we're going to have on site with speakers. We plan to invite some news media as well. After that's kind of well, after that's kind of, I wouldn't say over, but as people are milling around at 11:30 to 12:30, we're going to invite folks inside. All of this is outside prior, and then we're going to invite people inside. We're going to have a variety of inside, I'd say, pool demos or activities, and it's kind of like a showcase of what happens in the plunge today. So we have Richmond Swims is going to have a little time to speak on what they do. Show the kids are going to do some laps. They have an adult masters group that swims. I'm trying to get our lifeguards to do some kind of like interesting rescue activity that we haven't quite figured out yet, but we will want to utilize part of the pool for that. At the same time, or nearing that time, we're also going to have John Worley. I've spoken to him about kind of being the back and talking about his inspirations to the mural that he has in the back of the plunge. And then we have a kayak group that uses the plunge, and so they're going to come and do some some of their kayak demonstrations. They flip over and roll over. That's kind of what they do. So that'll be kind of interesting to see in the water for folks who have never seen that. And then we have Aqua Zumba, which is our exercise person who runs Aqua Zumba twice a week at the plunge, and he'll be doing a little demo. And it's all kind of happening quasi at the same time. We'll kind of end one thing, like Aqua Zumba will be a little bit loud, so we'll end that and let people be able to hear John Worley speak, stuff like that. So there's that, and that essentially ends. And then we have from 1 to 3 o'clock, because we have lots of lap swimmers that love the plunge so much. We're going to have lap swim time. It could be also water walking for those folks who like to do water walking. That's just going to be a time designated for those folks to get their workout in during the 100-year celebration. Regular fees apply to drop in. We kind of turn it around to be a regular business day, but it's like dedicated towards all the lanes being open. And then once that at 3 o'clock, we're going to have another turnaround. Everyone comes out, and then we're going to have from 3:30 to 5:30 is our family recreation swim that we do offer normally many times during the summer. But this one is going to be available for $1, 100, celebrating 100 years of the plunge, and we have pre-registration for that. The flyer for the family rec swim is right here. So if you come down to the plunge, you may see this flyer, and there's a QR code to pre-register if you want to take your kids and do some recreational family swim. So that is what's going on there. And then let's see, the last thing I will share is this is the plunge. This is the recreation aquatics webpage, and I maintain this regularly. So this is the Plunge 100-year anniversary
We don't see
side
the
of the.
update yet,
Robbie, yeah,
Robbie.
it hasn't, we're still seeing the flyer.
Oh, thank
Flyer.
you. Thank you for interrupting. I will, let me see if I can share that part of my screen. Thank you. There we go. Everyone see that?
That's working on it. It's getting there. It's starting up. Still waiting on it to load. It doesn't seem, oh, there we go. Yes, it is now loaded.
Okay. So on this website, we have the state of the natatorium and plunge that I checked with the library staff on getting a little bit of information about the plunge and going through the times of 100 years. And then down here, I have it is a collage, a photo collage of all these old photos that I found working with the library, and I digitalized the photos, and so it
Unfortunately, it
is
looks like I'm only seeing just the 100-year anniversary page. It's not actually, didn't scroll down to see anything, so it hasn't moved for us.
okay. Is
Maybe you have a
I
second
feel like
window open.
this is a Zoom
Yep, Zoom
issue.
nightmare.
Zoom night. Yeah, I don't know about nightmare, but
Well, one of the things you could do is if you would put that
I'm
link
gonna put it in the chat.
in the chat,
Yes,
then we can go directly and take a look at it as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. So let me go ahead. Yeah. This Zoom is acting up for me. I'm not sure what the deal is,
Okay,
but
okay.
here it is in the chat. Click on that link and you can kind of check out all kinds of information on the event, interesting old photos, and then if you would like to look at our regular website just for swim lessons, regular drop-in lap swim, you can do so on the Richmond Aquatics website.
Thank you. That's a lot of work. Plus, I know that you're busy actually teaching swimming and stuff. So um, keep it up. I have a question that came in about the cracks that are on the exterior, particularly in the back, that appear in the building. Are you aware of that? And do you know anything about that?
I did. We did a walkthrough with Public Works. The ones on like if you're in the tennis court looking at the backside of
Mhm.
the building, um, I asked them if they wanted to patch those up, prior to this big special event. They made note of it. There's a lot of physical things that we asked them to fix up uh, as leading up to this event. So they have their hands full with a few things. Janae helped make a list for Public Works to tackle. They've already tackled some of it with, I think Garry mentioned some of the landscaping they've done in the front and improving, it's getting ready for August 15th, essentially, doing some new planting and stuff. That was one of the things. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's horribly concerned about the crack other than how it looks superficially.
Okay.
Um, there wasn't nothing really caught their attention of like it's a structural damage issue. But yeah, they are aware of that. It's a question of whether they want to paint over it or patch it up before this event.
Right. And I know how busy they are. The landscaping team is at wit's end right now because it's summer and that's a big job. So they're working a lot of overtime on it. And Garry and his team, of course, are supplementing that. I'd like to make a couple suggestions to Janae. Are you with us still, Janae? Oh, there you are.
Yes.
There you are. It might be possible that you might want to reach out to ex-Mayor Rosemary Corbin. I can give you, you probably have her information from the old days. She's still, around in town. And she might be an interesting speaker because she was so largely influential in the fundraising and the renovation of the plunge when it reopened. So that's one
Okay.
suggestion. And maybe some others will have other neighbors in this meeting might have suggestions. Certainly, I would touch base with James Cheserick or Bonnie Joe from the Point Richmond History Association, because we've got that information duplicated and as part of the library system as well. And the other thing I wanted to let you know, because I don't know if you were in on this, you wouldn't have been on this email because I didn't know, is that the wigwags were vandalized. And the Point Richmond History Association, with a little funding here and some great volunteer work, has repaired those. So those wigwags are now can be rung. They are set up manually by volunteers, and it has been suggested that it might be nice for a few minutes just at the opening, just before you start. If we actually run the wigwags, they clang, and you wouldn't have to do anything. And then maybe just for a few minutes is kind of a celebration, because we only really get to use those wigwags when there's a big party. And so the History Association stands ready to clang in this event. And again, you don't have to do anything, which is the best part of it. So Rajana and Robbie have that email and those resources.
I have some things to add. I do want to say that we have a banner for the Plunge 100-year anniversary, and now we now have poles to hang that banner. And so that you will see coming right on the corner of Girard and East Richmond. And then Janae and I have been working on like 20-foot banners that are going to hang from like in front of the pillars of the Plunge, advertising this event. So you'll see those in a little bit. And then just imagine on the day of, we're going to have like a balloon arch, and we'll try to make the Plunge look nice. So there's definitely some improvements coming as well. And then I know the flagpole was an issue, and so the Public Works Department has been working really hard on trying to get the flagpole activated. I have the flag in my office ready to be hung, but they need to get a giant crane to get the string up to where it got disconnected because someone vandalized it, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, so that's coming too, all in time for August 15th.
It's going to be an amazing celebration. And I think for our whole neighborhood, not just the Plunge, I just think to remind people that we have a historic neighborhood here. Garry, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Robbie, we really manage the tennis courts in the back and the reservation system and all. I'm assuming you're going to want to use those. I should put them as nobody can be using those courts that day.
I beat you to it. I already put in my event registration through creating an event for this. Filling out the application, I reserved the tennis courts so that nobody could use them, because I figured people would walk from was that Girard Street where the tunnel is and walk across, or want to have some kind of pathway. And so I reserved the tennis courts, not for tennis, but simply just for the event in case we wanted to put something in the back. But I don't have any plans to put something on the tennis courts.
When you say you reserve them, how? The reservation system is actually a piece of paper that is on the court and people just ask their sign, or did you actually do it through the rec department?
Through the rec department, yeah. So
Okay,
it's a rental process through the rec department.
Sort of.
Yeah, I'm new to renting tennis courts, so
that's why I wanted to just check with you.
Yeah, I just requested that it be reserved so that anyone put a rental request that day or an activity, it's blocked off in our reservation system.
Okay, I got it. No, I need to talk to them too. They need to talk to us.
Yeah, if you could help with that for the in-person stuff.
Yeah, no problem. But you're actually planning to use them, or?
Originally, we're thinking about it, but I think people could have kind of an overflow into that nice garden area right next to the tennis courts.
Yep.
It kind of depends on how many people, but we weren't planning to have anything staged on the tennis courts. So yeah, I was looking at it as more of a walkway.
Yep, got it. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks. And community organizations, since the PRNC isn't going to have to serve food or beverage, maybe we can utilize our tent to have a few different community organizations just to do tabling for the event. So we'll plan that on our end once you let us know if there's anything you would like us to do.
Well, there's only so much because my idea was that it's going to be on the side of the plunge, kind of where the bocce ball courts are. And so there's only so much room, so
Right.
I'm kind of keeping the invitations for tents and, tabling to just some really small, like to just a few, and you're one of the groups. So
Right. And we appreciate it. What I was suggesting is that our neighbors could join us at our tent.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm
that,
going to try to measure out so there's spacing, so there's enough spacing. But if you can plan on a 10 by 10 tent, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I will provide 1 6-foot table. So if you want more than that, bring
you
another
know,
table and
Robbie, don't even
chairs.
bother. We are totally self-contained.
Great.
So
I like
don't
hearing
worry
that.
about us. We did 16 events last year. We have 2 tents, 2 tables, 27 tablecloths, and a gay guy who likes balloons a lot. So we've got it
Okay.
all going. We've got it all going on.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions before we let the city staff get back to their actual dogs, kids, and lives? Thank you for joining us. Thanks for telling us about what promises to be a massive festivity. And thank you for also having no discussion whatsoever about bike lanes or traffic or vandalism. We're really glad to have a break from that in our neighborhood council. And we look forward to working with you in the next month or so to get it ready.
Thank you very much. If you guys have questions about the pool, let me know, or anything specific for this lead up, I can try to help.
Thank
Happy to
you
be
very
here.
much.
Yeah.
Happy 4th of July. All righty. Moving on. We had switched up the community briefs just because I thought it was time. It's been years. So we're starting with Masker's Playhouse. Jim, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, if for the sake of efficiency and consolidation, I could do Maskers, Rosie the Riveter, and I noticed Graham Parrott is not here, so I could also do Red Oak Victory. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you guys want to just free form?
I could just go down those 3 areas.
Go through. That's great.
Okay. First of all, let's start with Maskers. Little Shop of Horrors is opening on July 10th. It's running to August 2nd. Most of you are familiar with that. It was a movie back in the 50s. It's now become for the stage a comedy and musical. And so that'll be running from July 10th to August 2nd. Tickets, $35 general admission, $30 for students and seniors. Red Oak Victory has several things going on. Independence Day, July 4th, 10 to 5 p.m. Tickets range from $15 to $40. I won't go into detail. Their website has all the different options. The $15 one includes lunch. And then if you get the deluxe platinum $40 one, you get a tour of the engine room as well. And then there are things in between. Also, the summer movie series with Carol Burns starts with Swing Shift with Goldie Hawn. That'll be on July 16th in the Theater of the Cargo Hold at 6:30. Suggested donation $10. And then on Sunday, July 19th is an open house, free, starting at 10 o'clock. So you can just get on the ship and wander around and explore and experience the Red Oak Victory. Let's see. Rosie the Riveter. I have a lecture coming up. We're starting to do a series on looking at home fronts outside the United States. And so we're doing Germany. And that will be on Sunday, June 28th at 2:30 in the afternoon. So that about covers Maskers, Red Oak Victory, and Rosie the Riveter.
Well, Jim, you cannot be accused of being a slacker. Thanks for filling us in on all of those things. I was at the RNCC meeting last month, but Peter, if you would like to pass on, did you hear from Cordell?
Yes. Let me grab his email here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I attend those meetings by Zoom, he doesn't
Yeah.
know I'm in the meetings. So he
Right.
usually just presents as if he was me. And then I go like, okay, what Cordell said.
Well, I told him to he needs to attend a couple of our meetings because we kind of miss him. But so anyway, he said that the recap, there were 14 on Zoom and 7 in the building, 3 people in the audience. Sasha Curl provided an overview. Sorry, my parrots are trying to talk to.
Put them on here.
Sasha Curl provided an overview of her vision for a better Richmond prior to her upcoming retirement. And no old business. And new business, he suggested inviting Caltrans or Union Pacific to express her trains and homeless encampments. That's it.
I will tell you that the conversation with Shasa Curl, Elisa, did you watch that meeting by any chance? So she's resigning and
I heard
people
about
kept
it.
asking her questions, and there was so much eye rolling that you could even hear people's eyes rolling who were on Zoom, and you couldn't see their face. And she kept saying, "We could talk about that offline. We could give me a call. We'll chat about that." So she's really got a lot of institutional knowledge. So I think that we're in for an interesting time with our city manager resigning, maybe a little unexpectedly early. So. It was kind of funny. Yeah, you had to be there, I guess. Sorry about that. Okay. Garry, you have news to share about tennis for sure. You're muted.
Thanks. So in the area around landscaping, around the plunge, kind of Maren heads up all the work, and there's a tennis part. That's the other part that I do, but we share a little bit of both of those. But on the tennis front, we just had a big announcement out to the newspapers around our teams. We actually have 11 teams that just have finished up their season for 18 and over. They're different kind of seasons throughout the year. But we're really proud that we had 4 teams finished. 2 teams finished first in the league. The other 2 finished second. But there's a start. Playoffs are going to start next week, and so we finish the playoffs, and then if we win there, we go to Northern California Championships up in Sacramento. So it's going to be a busy day for tennis, and we have and we do register those 2 courts by the plunge. So I need to talk to Robbie just about
Absolutely remarkable, Garry.
It's not going to be a problem, but it'll all work.
No, of course. Of course, you're on it like white on rice, as we used to say in the South. Peter, ping pong Peter.
All right. Well, ping pong is as popular as it has been for a while. What?
Oh,
you forgot Diane.
You forgot Diane.
Oh God.
I know.
Go ahead and then we'll go to Diane.
and then you'll forget about Mary Jo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Joe. Welcome to the club, Diane. Welcome to the club.
That's okay. So even though we don't meet in July and August, I did want to introduce everyone to our new WWIC president, Cheryl Willis, and maybe she could say a few words. Cheryl, where is she?
I just want to say hi, everybody. And I really don't even know how that happened, but nevertheless, here I am. I recognize a number of you. I've heard James and Jim's speeches, both in the community center, and I know, Jim, you came and spoke to the women's group. You are all just such an impressive group of people, and how lucky is our community to have you. And so I thank you for that. And our Women's West Side Improvement Club starts off again in the fall. But we're continuing to weed the gardens and pick up trash down at Miller Knox and try to help out our community during the summer. And any of you women that are in this meeting and are not members of WWIC, we would love to have you, $25 for the whole year. So check it out.
And
Thank you very much.
let me chime
Okay.
in. It's not just women. I am a member.
I know.
I may be the only one.
I
It's
remember that, Philip.
since 1908. And a welcome to the presidency. And I will tell you how it happened, Cheryl. You weren't paying attention, and it was your turn. So that because
By
that's
default.
what happened to me 4 years ago. Lisa Johnson said, "We ought to do this. Do you want to be president or vice president?" So
Right.
you were sleeping. Drink more coffee, and this won't happen to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you.
Thank
And
you.
Diane, sorry. Okay, are we going back to ping pong, or did we cover ping pong?
Well, we had about half a dozen people as usual, and everybody had fun. Everybody's invited. Please come on by. It's Mondays, 5 to whenever people want to leave at the Point San Pablo Yacht Club on West Cutting Avenue. That's it.
Okay. Now, nothing for LUDRC. No updates, so I don't see anything there. Community briefs, Richmond CERT. Okay. Richmond CERT, do you have anything for us from CERT, Charmaine?
Yeah, I just want to say that they graduated another group at the CERT Academy this spring, and they're setting up just a minute, please. I lost track. The fire department is having 3 sessions in the summer for CPR trainings, and you can contact the fire department. Richard Diaz is in charge. And they put out a flyer recently that just says, watch out for the heat in the summer. I know right now what we have is fog, but if you go inland at all, you're going to get, warmed up, or Sacramento or any place else you go, it's getting really hot. So don't wait until you're thirsty to drink water. Make sure that you look for signs of heat exhaustion if you're out hiking. That could be heavy sweating, dizziness, nausea. Go to a cool place and drink water. Wear the right gear. Make sure you have loose clothing, light colors for the hot weather. And watch out for the vulnerable, the children, the older people, and anybody else that might look like they're suffering and need to have some water or shade or something. Sometimes people don't really realize it's happening to them. So watch out for your neighbors too. So it's just kind of warning for the heat of the summer. That's it.
Thanks, Charmaine. I appreciate it. Now I will not forget Bonnie Joe. Bonnie Joe from the Point Richmond
Really, Philip? Really? Thank
History
you.
Association. And next month you'll be the second one. So there you go, because we flip-flop those.
Yes, I've got a couple announcements, 3 or 4 actually. First of all, I would like everybody to join the members of the Point Richmond History Association and the staff of the Santa Fe Market on Friday, July 3rd at 4 o'clock. We're going to mount an historic plaque on the Santa Fe Market building, thanks to Jim Davis. And we would like Trino, the owner of Santa Fe Market, is very excited about this, and he would love to have a lot of people come. So we're hoping a lot of people will come and watch Jim and Mike Cooper install this very heavy bronze plaque. So that's Friday, July 3rd at 4 o'clock. I wanted to mention that the museum will be open for the next music concert, the summer music concert. The next one is July 10th in the Triangle. And on behalf of the West Side branch, I'd like to let you know that Susan White has scheduled a lecture on Mare Island and the fight for Black workers' rights. This is Wednesday, July 15th at 6 o'clock in the community center. The speaker is Jake Sloan, who is the author of the book Standing Tall, Willie Long versus the U.S. Government at Mare Island Naval Shipyard. That's July 15th at 6 o'clock in the community center. And can I assume that we have permission to operate the wigwags at the anniversary of the plunge?
That hasn't been confirmed. That was a high pressure tactic that I did to call those people out in front of a room full of people. So I can't, it seemed like a good idea and it seems like there's some enthusiasm, but it would be great just to start that celebration with that, what did they used to say in the South? With that joyful noise.
Yeah.
So you're on that email thread and we can follow up on it. We have a little time. So
Okay. All right. All right. I think it would be a great idea. I think it'd be a wonderful way to start the outdoor part of that celebration.
and maybe we can get
Wigwag
together,
wig.
right? After the next, actually, we can probably finance this now. I'd like to talk to you about the possibility. I'm going to hijack this for a second. We had raised some money at Dumpster Day to provide a sidewalk that enters the Judge Carroll Park that is used as a dog park. And when I discussed it with the city, I was able to persuade them to put in an actual sidewalk, which you probably have all noticed. So it's not a muddy mess anymore and dangerous. So that left us with a little extra money. Maybe we can try to get the one wigwag that's been hit by a million cars painted. So I've got a painter who may be willing to do that at an affordable price. So that might be a good, that's sort of discretionary money for the PRNC, the Dumpster Day money. So that might be something you and I should talk about, Bonnie, with the painter
Very
and
good.
see.
Sure.
I would love to freshen the one is okay. The other one, or
Right.
do
The
both
other
of
one
them.
is yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that would be
Sure.
some, I'll add that to my list of a million things to do. Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's put some pressure on it. We'll wait till a week or two. If we don't hear back, we'll start to lay on some guilt.
Or we can just
Thank you very much. Next is Margie. Are you going to fill us in on the arts?
Sure. West Side or Arts Point Richmond. The team got together last month and did a whole membership get together, and they figured out all the different things they want to do to improve the organization. So it's going to be kind of fun to watch what happens. More exhibits, more training, more trips to the city and places. Second thing that's happening is tomorrow at the community center, library, watercolor, and or just play around. It's open for 4 hours, and we do that twice a month at the library. Saturday, you're invited to come to the Point Richmond Gallery, and that is for Richard Ward's Solitude Show. And we have an artist talk at 2 o'clock and music from 4 to 5 or the 3 to 5, which is Jesse J, who is a Frank Sinatra impersonator. It's a lot of fun. And then there's a new exhibit coming up July 6th to August 2nd at Artifacts, and it's called Water's Edge. And Eric Greenwood, who is a wonderful watercolor, and Jim Bruce, who you might all know, a sculptor, is going to be presenting then. And they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 1 to 5.
Thanks for mentioning that gallery as well. He sent me an email and I forgot to print it out. So you were right there with the info. Is Kate with us? I don't think so. I think they're taking a summer break. I can't remember what she said. So no report from them. Anybody reporting on HOAs in Brickyard Cove? Okay, so I want to talk a moment about Brickyard Cove. There are definitely a lot of retired folks over on the Cove. We know that demographically, and some new young families moving in. We have Charmaine, who is on our board from Brickyard Cove, and we could certainly use some officers from that side of the tunnel. In the past, people have said, oh, we're really focused on downtown. well, one good way to make sure we focus or we're not missing any concerns, we do the best we can, is to pound the pavement a little bit. So I'm wondering, Charmaine, this is no pressure, but a question. I know that there's some internal newsletters and emails that go out.
Yes.
Sue Rosenoff did a beautiful flyer recruiting for, hi, Sue. Please pass the parrot. So I was wondering, Sue, if you could send that to Charmaine. Charmaine, could you help us to get that out? I
Yes.
Okay,
sense
so
there's
you're
a
unmuted.
there's a
Okay.
lot of folks that live over there that might have a
Lean
little,
on this and bend it.
and would love to see some board member applications from that side of the tunnel.
Okay, so you're saying you want me to send a copy of that
Flyer to
flyer that
Charmaine.
says wanted, because I have a really big flyer
Right.
of the wanted, but I think
Well,
yeah.
it would go by email, so whatever you think
Yeah.
is best.
Okay. Do you want me to list the positions that are available or just the general?
Why don't you keep it general, because people might think that they want to be the treasurer, but they really don't know they want to be the president.
Good point.
As you know, because you've done almost all of those jobs, Sue. And I
Thank
do
you.
want to give a shout out that Sue continues to keep that kiosk festive. Somewhere there is an elementary school teacher in her past or in her
Probably.
DNA that makes
Arts and
things,
crafts teacher.
that makes things cheerful. And I always look forward to what she does for that. So that's good. We ended a little bit earlier. Do we have anyone who would like to introduce themselves or just have any public forum or comments? Wow, we all know each other and nothing, no concerns. No one's angry at me. Or if they are, they'll only take it out on social media. I'm a big boy, I can take it. Okay. And in remembrance and celebration, I think several of us attended the memorial service for Buzz Bayless a couple of weeks ago at the Yacht Club. It was beautiful. There were people from all over the country there, and there were people from the many disciplines of who Buzz Bayless was there. I know Margie was there, Garry was there. I saw Peter and Sue there. I was standing at the back, so I was looking at a lot of people's heads. The backs of people's head. One of the things that struck me about this incredible community member, who was one of the kindest and most cheerful and positive guys that I've ever met, was how many different disciplines he had. There was a whole team of people who were about auto racing and cars, and there were boaters, and there were people from his professional career. Everybody had stories about how sweet he was, how funny he was. And one of the most, I just want to share a memory. One of the most delightful things you could experience was Buzz Bayless when he was angry at something, because it was so out of character for him to even have anything but cheerfulness that it was like a cartoon version of anger. He was a delightful man, and it was standing room only in that room. There were probably, looked like 150 to 200 people reminiscing. And it was just great. Margie?
He also did Meals on Wheels, and I knew people didn't, I mean, amazing.
Yeah, he was delightful, and he served on the PRNC for years and many other community organizations. He worked with children. I know that he befriended one of our officers who has a son, and they went to the races together. So they started off working together, but then also became social friends. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Buzz. If you knew him, you loved him, and let you know that it was a lovely celebration of a lovely man and his lovely life. And it was an honor to be there. With that, any other comments, or should we all say goodbye half an hour early? Let's get some sleep. And hopefully we'll see you again next month. It's always a little slow in July, and then we will take August off. We'll have all those events, but we will have no meeting for our August break. Thank you all so much for joining.
And as a
Thank you,
reminder,
Philip. Thank
as a
you.
reminder to board members, please stay on the line because
Oh,
we do
right,
have a
thanks.
quick meeting.
Right, I forgot, board members.
Glad I reminded you, otherwise you would have left, and that would have
Right, and then I have to phone y'all and bug you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
So thanks. We will wait till the general public signs off so we can talk about you behind your backs. Just kidding.
And I hadn't quite turned off the recording, so
No,
that's going on the record.
everybody knows. If you don't know that I'm obnoxious by now, you haven't been paying attention. I mean, sarcastic, not obnoxious.